A blessed good morning and good day to everyone from the Caribbean and around the rest of the world. I need to stop at this time and make a sound check. Dr. Pereira, are you hearing me loud and clear?
Yes, I'm hearing you with a little bit of background noise on your mic. You might need to tone down a little bit on your mic because you're getting a little feedback sound, Marine.
What about now? Are you still getting that feedback?
I'm still getting, but it's okay. We could go ahead and start the call.
Okay. My name is Maureen Brown and I am from Barbados. I am your host today. Just a reminder of why we are here. Our founder, Dr. Ruja, has said we are learning today so we can lead tomorrow. What is OneAcademy? OneAcademy is an innovative e-learning platform covering a broad range of financial topics, including trading, the stock exchange, cryptocurrency, financial analysis, asset management, and more. Our mission is to provide our students with the guidance and educational materials they need to achieve financial literacy. OneAcademy was developed by finance experts and academics. It is highly structured and easy to understand. You learn at your own pace and can be a part of the future of global finance. Since the start of this week, we have adopted a new format of presenting OneAcademy for the next 2 weeks. We will be presenting level 1 once again, and our intention is to give you a unique sense of understanding of straightforward facts that you can use immediately to enhance your daily life as well as promote our core product, OneAcademy. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. We want this session to be interactive, and the presenters will be answering your questions as you post them. Also, at the end, we will allow 1 or 2 contributions. That is if for Diamond, King James does not want to have the session, then we will allow 1 or 2 people to make comments openly. But other than that, you can put them in the chat box, as I said. I still want you to take copious notes. The new format will consist somebody, I need to mute somebody's mic. Thank you. The new format will consist of a discussion with 2 presenters or even more. Dr. Larry Pereira, the call is over to you.
Thank you so much, Maureen. It's indeed a pleasure. And good morning to all. Maureen, could you just mute your mic? We are getting a lot of feedback. Thank you. Okay, guys, pleasant good morning once again. Larry Pereira here in company of some amazing people like yourself. I'm happy that you've joined in wherever you are in the world, as far as Algeria, Africa. Good morning to you, wherever you are. If you are within the Caribbean and we didn't mention your name, where you are, feel free and put it in the chat box and we'll be happy to do so. So this morning I have also in good company Dr. Alvin Morton. We normally interchange the words and we would say doctor. It doesn't mean that I'm a medical doctor in any particular way, but we have these alias titles that we tend to use. So if you hear us use those titles, it's because we would have a high level of respect for each other. So Dr. Morton, good morning to you, sir. How are you this morning?
Pleasant morning, Professor Pereira. I trust that I have been heard loudly and clearly enough.
Yes, sir. I am hearing you loud and clear. So how are you on this fine Thursday morning?
Very good. Glad to be alive and privileged, humbled to be on this call this morning.
Indeed, we are all privileged to be here, and I am also privileged to be here. And of course, we need to acknowledge some of our top leaders that are in this room. Okay, we have Mr. King James, and of course, Mr. Ivan Mark, Ivan Michel Mark, good morning to you. Of course, diamonds in the One Life business, and by extension, they have commanded huge respects. Good morning to you, gentlemen and lady. It is indeed a privilege. So we're going to continue this morning. It's going to be a very interesting call this morning as we continue educating and giving you ideas that you can actually use right now. Before we go forward, it's always good because I want you to get into the habit of getting the pulse of what's happening internationally. Of course, our West Texas crude is still hovering over 71 US dollars a barrel, and that's really good for those of us in the Caribbean who depend on it. Bitcoin, for those who are Bitcoin enthusiasts, and of course, we are in the cryptocurrency industry, so we should always have an idea what's taking place. Bitcoin is over 9,300 US dollars. Of course, Ethereum is just over 764. Ethereum had peaked at 800 just a few days ago. Bitcoin Cash just over 1,658, Litecoin 158. Gold is still hovering at a price of just over 1,306 US dollars. And of course, silver just under 17 US dollars an ounce. Of course, it's very important to always stay close to those figures because it gives us an indication of what is taking place in the world of finance today. Before we go further, I want to share with you a very unique video, in my humblest opinion, that really underscores where we want to take this call this morning. It's a very interesting video, and actually it's one of the most popular scenes from the movie Matrix, where Neo is actually meeting Morpheus for the first time. How many of you could remember that movie? I have watched that movie over 50 times. And every time I watch that movie, I am just amazed at the amount of information that they're trying to tell people, and still many people may not have understood. So I want to really just share with you very briefly this, just for about 2 to 3 minutes. I want you to take note of what's taking place as it relates to this scene with Morpheus.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole. You could say that. I can see it in your eyes. You have the look of a man who accepts what he sees because he is expecting to wake up. Ironically, this is not far from the truth. Do you believe in fate, Neo?
No,
Why not?
because I don't like the idea that I'm not in control of my life.
I know exactly what you mean. Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Matrix.
Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it.
Yes, unfortunately, this video is playing a bit low, but what it is I really wanted to highlight to you this morning is very simply one most important point. And that is the information we are going to share with you in many cases is not new information. It's pretty much old, as Jim Rohn would rightfully say that information or knowledge is basically old. Anyone who comes and tells you that there's something new, it's really not. And I want to share with you something very important, that it breeds some importance in the light of what's taking place in the world today. And we have to understand where the financial system is and where it's going. And when you really look at the financial system and where it's going, you realize that the world, or the world rather, has been pulled over our eyes. And it's very important through the OneAcademy sessions that we will constantly let you know what is the important information that you need to know. Because at the end of the day, Knowledge is not only power. I always say that time and time again. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is. But you can only apply knowledge when you remember what it is. So this morning we're going to continue on returns, managing returns. We're going to have a little discussion around that, and very interesting as it relates to the perspectives in terms of our portfolio. We talked a little bit about the purchasing power of the dollar over the past couple of days as we started this call. Dr. Alvin Morton, your perspective, sir, as it relates to what we would have discussed already about the purchasing power of the US dollar declining, it affecting our finances and the need to put things in place. To give just a brief overview in about 60 seconds or so, your perspectives on that, sir.
Well, good morning again, fellow OneAcademites. We've got to remember that since the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, the US dollar has lost anywhere from 95 to 98% of its value, depending on where your source of information from the US labor comes from. But if we can all accept 95%, then we've got to appreciate, and there's no pun intended, that when our individual currencies from wherever we are tied to this thing, are we in fact engaging in an indecent love affair with something that is going to zero? By an act of former US President Richard Nixon in 1971, the US dollar was severed from the gold standard. Severed, so it is now backed by nothing. Dr. Ruja in her book talks about all that is required for something to be adopted or to be treated as money really is trust and adoption. And pardon me, but there is a particular element that has earned that trust and adoption for more than 5,000 years. And we spoke about that some days ago. It is the gold standard, and again, no pun intended. So we need to be aware of these things. We need to include them in our portfolios, just as we would include the presumably upcoming gold standard, which would be cryptocurrency. And we need to continue to educate ourselves, to draw out of ourselves those things that fill our sweet spot, that are in our sweet spot, and that would enable us truly to have time freedom. Because most of us, myself included, are exchanging time for money in order to do the things we want to do, to have the things we want to have, to be, as other persons in the motivational field would say, we want to be, do, and have. But many times, our time is consumed in some cases, activities and with people who we may not necessarily like or want to be around. But it is just the way it is until we can do better. So these are my perspectives arising out of the whole challenge and situation with the US dollar. Some of us may have been following the discussion between Mariano Brown and Roger Ramkissoon, I believe it was, on the television last night. And we're hearing in Trinidad and Tobago that our economy is turning around or turning the corner. But we need to pay attention, fellow OneAcademites, whether it's in Trinidad and Tobago or elsewhere, that comments made suggest an economic growth of about 1%, 1.5, 1.6% or thereabouts. And even as we head out to 2022, in the opinion of the economists, the economy would not have recovered its gross domestic product level that it would have had back in 2005 or even 2008. So Against all of these situations, and notwithstanding that the oil price is at 71 or so US dollars, we need to put our own financial houses in order and to mind our own financial businesses.
Absolutely well said, because when we're really dealing with deficit spending, it's affecting all of us. And of course, the slide that I have here says it all, that you cannot outrun inflation with an income earned in a shrinking currency. And that is the reason why we are on these OneAcademy calls every morning, Monday to Friday, wherever you are in the world. And of course, good morning to our Blue Diamond from Algeria, Africa, Sanan Malika. I don't know if I have your pronunciation correct, but very good. Good morning to you, or good day to you where you are. So when you really look at what is taking place as it relates to the United States dollar, every single currency in the world, especially those in the Caribbean as well, is pegged to the US dollar. So whatever happens to the United States dollar is in fact impacting us as well. And that is why if you are earning a linear income, and that's another way of saying that you're actually exchanging time for money in a job scenario, then you are not going to be able to do the things that you want. Because I think we already have identified over this week that if you whenever you get paid and you go to the grocery and you just buy some of the basic things, you're being very conservative, because these days a lot of persons can just barely afford to do things based on that linear income. You are not going to be able to fill your basket, your trolley, as much as you would like. So you're paying more for less. And that is the reality wherever we are in the world, all over the many different countries that are tuned in. And we have to do something about it. And the reason we are here in these calls is for us to learn a lot about what we can do about it. Something very important that I want to share with you, and this is really leading up to the whole aspect of the matrix, that little clip I wanted to share this morning. Unfortunately, sometimes Zoom doesn't allow us to get the volume right. But in the essence, the world has been pulled over our eyes, and we have been taught to believe a lie that the system that we have currently is the way it is. And I want to free your mind this morning. For some, it might be difficult, but we must do it nonetheless. It is the unequivocal truth. And if you look at Robert Kiyosaki's book that was written in 2009, I would advise you to get it. It's called The Conspiracy of the Rich, The 8 New Rules of Money. In his chapter, and I wanted to highlight this chapter, I hope everybody is seeing it on the screen. I'm going to just read a little excerpt so you will understand that this thing goes deeper than just maybe the opinions of many. And he says that the purpose of the foundation, which is the General Education Board, which was set up many years ago in the United States, all right, so that education, we talk about having free and open education where people can learn and stuff, was the use of the power of money to raise the level of education in America. Of course, I'm using this term, but it applies to all of us. As was widely believed at the time, but to influence the direction that education, of that education. The object was to use the classroom to teach attitudes that encourage people to be passive and submissive to their rulers. The goal was, and still is, to create citizens who were educated enough for productive work under supervision, but not enough to question authority or seek to rise above their class. True education, OneAcademites, was to be restricted to the sons and daughters of the elite. For the rest, it would be better to produce skilled workers with no particular aspirations other than to enjoy life. The education system of today, and I say it with no apologies, I make no apologies because it is what it is designed to put you on the plantation. It is a highly sophisticated model designed to keep you on this treadmill, running to work every day, exchanging time for money, dealing with office politics, dealing with people who may want your job, and you're going through that over and over and over again. And then at the end of the month, you have more month than money. That is tantamount to extreme madness as far as I am concerned. And we cannot continue along this path. If you want a better life, we are definitely heading in the right direction. And of course, Dr. Ruja, in her vision, that created the One Life Network, which we are proud to be a part of. And even if you're not part of the One Life Network yet, and you're tuned into this call, it is important to understand the system. We have to understand the system. If you have to move beyond the system, you have to understand what the system is. And this is the hard, cold facts. that we are part of a system that is not concerned about our financial independence. We are part of a system that is designed to keep us as slaves for the rest of our lives. And this very system is being taken down now through blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. This is the most profound disruption that will ever take place in the last 4 to 5 decades of this century, of the last century moving into now. And this is why the banks are fighting. They're fighting back to hold on to the system. You need to understand why. But at the same time, we need to be educated in our conversation so that we are not going to be attacking anybody outside there, but we are presenting merely the truth. And you need to understand what the truth really represents to us. Because when you understand the dimension of how serious this deception is, you now can begin to free your mind. And as Noel rightfully said some time ago, it's the red pill or the blue pill. If you agree that you want to take the red pill, type the red pill in the box and let me know that you want to come out of this matrix. And we're going to continue. And that's where the One Academy is. We are presenting the red pill to you. If you don't want to take the red pill, you can take the blue pill, as Morpheus rightfully said, and go to sleep, wake up the next day and believe whatever you want to believe. But if you take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And we at One Academy show you how deep this rabbit hole goes. And it's very important for you to understand, because we need to understand this system because it has pulled over our eyes. Dr. Morton, your perspectives on this as we move forward this morning. Time is moving fast this morning.
Again, thanks, Professor Pereira, for the opportunity to contribute once more. In life, we are confronted with clear choices. We can either believe or not believe. We can choose to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. It is the definition of madness, but it is a choice. And it is even a choice to decide to do nothing. That's just a lot of old talk. It's a lot of hot air, and others will have other terms for it. Some of them we may know: scam, Ponzi scheme, pyramid, whatever you want to call it. It does not mean, however, that it isn't true. We are part of a system, a debt-based system, a deficit spending-based system. And Dr. Ruja in her book, Learning for Profit, talks about it, where we are never truly out of debt. And we've said it over and over. The knowledge must be applied. Only knowing it is half of the battle. Leo Buscaglia, many years ago, said that to know and not to do is not to know. And Stephen Covey, late Stephen Covey, in his seminal work, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, puts it another way. He says to learn and not to do is also not to know. So getting on these calls is the first step. It's an important step, but it is not the only step. We must now continue to persist until resistance to the ideas, to what is being talked about, to the notion of the truth recedes, or to continue to be pure, which is putting up resistance, putting up or persisting until resistance expires or exhales. Those are my perspectives, Professor P.
Absolutely. Do appreciate, Jamila says, wow, it's a rat race. Dwayne Cadiz, of course, the red pill folks. Riaz Solomon, a red pill. Lisa Green from Barbados, the red pill. Of course, Kesby, red pill. Of course, Noel, red pill IMAs. Of course, we need to take the red pill. Dave, of course, we're in full agreement. Mauritius Richardson, the red pill. Very important. We need to do that. And very interesting here. If you can see the screen, I hope you can. Who took my money? Let's look at it very, very quickly. And this is the reality of school. Most people, most of us, we all were part of that. I myself. So we were all part of that system where we learn nothing about money at school, but the rich learn about money at home because they are in an environment that is conducive for that learning. So we go to school and they give us this facade of going to school, get good grades, we get a good job, and we all live happily ever after. A Walt Disney movie production that's sold to us wholesale from the moment we went to kindergarten. And immediately we created a conformity kind of belief system into believing that, listen, my whole modus operandi is just to get a job. It is a real number that they've really worked on our minds. It's amazing how we do it, and they do it so subtly. So the most unique thing about it is as the prison that has been created today, the greatest prison of the plantation, is so invisible that if we're not careful, we will realize, we might very much think that this is the reality of our lives, but it's not, OneAcademites. There is hope, there is opportunity, and we need to think that when there is chaos, there's always opportunity. Rich people know that in chaos, there is opportunity. The rest of us think that when it's chaos, we should run and stick our heads in the sand and pretend that this doesn't affect me and hope that the storm blows over. We need to change that. The mere fact that you guys are on this call definitely concludes this. Another thing, taxes go to companies that are owned by the rich and friends of political leaders in the form of bailouts. It is estimated that for every $1,000 in taxes you and I pay, less than $200 go back to the benefit of us. How many times have you seen that? We pay our taxes and the roads are not fixed, the infrastructure needs to be repaired. So many things aren't being done. It is a deliberate attempt in the political system to ensure that this demise continues. And that's why you have to take care of you first. You need to understand this. The rich know how to play the system. We now are learning how to play the system. They own the businesses, they make more money, they pay a lower percentage in taxes than employees do, all right? And of course, when the government talks about trillion-dollar bailouts, it means that the generations to come, meaning our kids, will be paying for these financial rescues of the rich. Our kids will pay for these bailouts in higher taxes and in higher inflation. Inflation is robbing you of your blood, sweat, and tears. And what did we talk about in the beginning? Your time and your freedom. So let's look at another example. And of course, when I read this, I think about Ivan Mark when he said so many things about mortgage yesterday. Ivan, you're spot on, sir. Mortgage payments go to banks of the rich. Of course, many of the rich people own the banks or have huge shares in them. And if you take out a $100,000 mortgage, right, this is just an average, of course, all right, but just to put things in perspective, if you took out a $100,000 mortgage at a rate of 5% for 30 years, you will pay back $93,000 in interest alone. And this does not include fees, commissions, and service charges. Most people invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds for their retirement. And most of this money is invested in businesses of the rich. If the investment loses money, you lose money. And the financial planner, stockbroker, or the real estate broker keeps the commission. Who gets the money we spend for insurance, gasoline, telephone, service, electricity, and so many other necessities of life? The rich, who benefit if these necessities go up in price. The rich. Now, I'm not trying to toot my horn and trying to say that it's bad to be rich. No, don't get me wrong. We are just saying this is just reality. Rich people who really are in that 3%ers of the world already understand how the system works, and they work the system. We cannot be naive, OneAcademites, into believing that the status quo is exactly how it is. No, 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 no. It has to change. We have to change it. And for all the 44 attendees on this call, you guys have made a special attempt to be on these calls. And I salute you guys, and you need to give yourself a round of applause this morning as it relates to that. And that's why we need to understand some of the biggest lies about money. And that's why I want you to read that book. All right, The 8 New Rules of Money, Robert Kiyosaki, printed back in 2009. And amazingly, it was just when the US had this real estate market bubble, and he wrote the book completely online. And it is so much relevant today than yesterday. It's already close to 6:28 right now, Eastern Standard Time, American Standard Time, Atlantic Standard Time, and wherever you are, probably a little later on that. So this discussion this morning is really to let you understand that we need to take the red pill. And we're on to something through this OneAcademy series to continually bridge the gap of that narrow-mindedness that the system has already taught us to believe, that we think that we're okay. You might have a good job and you're paying your taxes and you feel that you're living the middle-class life, but it's not okay. Blockchain technology is going to wipe you out if you don't put things in place. That's why the major disruption is taking place. Mike Maloney talked about it in the Hidden Secrets of Money. You need to go take a listen to that. When Mike Maloney says that we are living in a bubble and it's actually going to burst. And when this bubble bursts, my question to you is, guys, are you prepared for this? Are you prepared for what is to come in 2018? We're not talking about 5 years down the road, you know. If something should happen now, are you prepared? Do you have 6 to 8 months of income, fiat currency, at least in the bank or somewhere where you can actually help yourself? Have you planted some food where you can actually help yourself? Because sometimes you might have the money, and if the system locks down itself, you can't eat concrete, right? So you understand what we've been speaking about over the past couple of days. You need to get into food, start planting your little kitchen garden, cut down your expenditures, get out of debt. That's what the OneAcademy Level 1 we have been talking about so far. Dr. A, I've been supplanted some of this information even before you, sir, but it's very, very important that we take advantage of what we can control now. You need to work with what you can control now and work with now creating a business now through our One Life Network business, through the learning of cryptocurrency so that we can diversify our portfolio. Your perspective, sir, as we wrap up in the next 5 minutes.
This is absolutely correct, Professor P. And sometimes we need many times to continue listening and hearing the information over and over again so that we can continue to be educated and we can continue to eventually reach the place of unconscious competence. And this is ultimately where we want to be. We want to be competent in all aspects, including financial aspects. As you very eloquently articulated, we have not been taught this information. We have been taught, and if we have, it has always been within the context, within the confines, within the perspective of being the productive resource for someone else. So many companies have human resources departments. So that's literally how we are seen. We are seen as batteries that power the engine and the machines of the enterprises owned by the rich. So the question then becomes, why not, and at what stage, how long, or how often, when do we plan to take that red pill and become the powerhouses and engines and batteries of our own enterprises?
Absolutely, Dr. A. And of course, as we wrap up, we would have spoken a little bit about the academics. Of course, academic education is very important. It doesn't, I'm not saying that you should stay under a banana tree all day and don't send your children to school. Absolutely not. You need to still send your children to school, but you need to understand the limitations of where the academic education is. Having a professional education, which is the knowledge of a trade or a skill or discipline, is very important because it can definitely create value in society. And of course, we have a lot of professionals that are actually on this call that are creating value as well. That's very important. But this is the most important one, that we don't get enough information in our formidable years from our primary into secondary into education and going into tertiary. And that is financial education, because financial education is essential to financial intelligence. This financial intelligence is not so much about how much money you make, but how much money you keep. Always remember that. It's not how much money you make in the long run, it's how much you keep. You need financial intelligence to keep your money, how hard your money works for you, and how many generations you pass your money on to. If the information age, the financial age is essential to financial security. Most school systems do a pretty good job with academic and professional education. However, they fail when it comes to financial education. And that is important as we end this morning's call to reiterate the importance of financial literacy, to begin that process. Educate yourself. Education is a lifelong pursuit. You must never feel that you're rich. You must never feel, well, I studied long and hard for all these years, I don't need to study again. Yes, you would have in the academic field, in creating maybe a life for yourself. But if you really truly want to create that knowledge that you can pass on to your generations to come that they so urgently need, all right, and I would advise you, and we are going to actually, in a particular morning, talk about Super TED and that financial education that Dr. Ruja has set out for children for ages 5 to 12 and beyond. I think many of us still need to read that as well to have that kind of perspective. All right, so guys, this kind of concludes this morning. We're going to continue. Of course, time goes by so quickly when we are discussing, but I really want you to take this red pill, and kudos to everyone who believes that we should be taking the red pill, that the education system is not everything it says it is. You have the responsibility to begin that literacy program, that financial literacy that you need. And you're going to find it as we start and we continue on the OneAcademy series as we move forward, so that you now can learn simple, basic financial literacy to start with that you, after this call, can apply in your daily life. That is the mission that we have set out to go and to help you move to the next level, so that when you move to your teams in the One Life Network, you can translate and to realize how serious this financial education is. That we need to go out there and share this opportunity as with much people as possible. And of course, as I wrap up, most important, I want to remind you again of the Caribbean Deal Shaker Expo that's going to be at July the 20th to the 22nd, 2018 at the Trinidad Hilton Conference Center, the Upside Down Hotel, as they say, where we're going to be taking the deal shaker to the next level, where we're going to be highlighting local businesses from around the region that's actually going to be represented here. It's going to be an international event. You need to be there. Of course, we still have the early bird specials of €150 until the 15th of this month. Then it goes up to €200, of course. So you really need to get back with the persons who have information. You could liaise with any one of us if you want to get the information, or many of your team leaders to get that information. I am not sure at this point in time if Jamal is on the call. Jamal, are you hearing me, sir? Good morning to you. All right. I'm not sure if Jamal actually still is on the line, but Jamal is actually the gentleman who actually has created this website. Jamal, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. And are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, sir. The mic is yours, sir.
Right. Thank you, and a pleasant good morning to all IMAs on the call and their guests. Just to touch a little bit on the Caribbean Deal Shaker Expo site. It's simple yet multifaceted in nature, where it's going to actually put a little bit of power dynamics in the hands of IMAs who wish to be featured, because there's a biography section. Members can send me a little bit of data on themselves, and I can feature them on the blog section of the site. It's also a marketing tool in its dynamics, and it's going to leave a lasting impression on the world at large. It's also cross-integrated with the I Am One Life project, which is a Facebook group which our members can shine in and also leave their mark. And tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you do, what One Life has done for you, and then by extension, the iamonelife.com scenario is going to be a membership site that is also going to give IMAs a level of recruiting power cross-continental. So it's a whole synergistic realm of creation that is going to build a huge power dynamic for IMAs. So it's a mass worldwide recruiting tools. So guys, feel free to send me a little bit of information on yourselves. I could feature you into the Caribbean Deal Shaker Expo site, and get some mileage from it. So that's my little contribution today. Thank you for allowing me to shine in, Dr. Pereira.
Thank you so much, Jamal, for your contribution and, of course, all the work that you've been doing in the One Life community. This wraps up our call this morning. Dr. Alvin Morton, your 60-second contribution before we hand this call back over to Maureen Brown.
Thank you again for the opportunity to contribute. This again was yet another fascinating call, a scintillating call for me. And we just want to keep three things in mind. It is not how much money you earn, but it is how much that you keep that makes you wealthy. It is not what you eat, but what you digest that makes you strong. Okay? And let's keep reaching for the stars, even as we keep our feet on the ground. And it is not the movement of the clock that produces the newness of life, but it is the movement in our minds. Thank you, Professor Pereira.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alvin Morton, for your contribution. Of course, we continue the education process tomorrow. Once again, same time, same place. Thank you so much, OneAcademites, for taking time out of your schedule to be on this call. I am indeed honored that the fact that I am here in this capacity to be able to serve you. And as we continue along this drive, let's go out there and share this opportunity with everyone, because everybody needs to get this opportunity. All right, so have yourself a super fabulous day. Maureen Brown, this call is over to you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Alvin Morton. And thank each and every one of you who is on the call. Now, I want to acknowledge some persons we have on the call this morning. Our King James, he is here with us. Ivan and Michelle Mark, as well as Noel Emmanuel Jack. Yesterday morning, we had a blue diamond on the line, Sana Malika from Algeria, Africa. And that person is on the line this morning, as well as another blue diamond from over that way as well, Adeline Kakati. But as I said, he's also with us. When I unmute Sana Maliki's mic, she will repeat the name properly for me, because I don't think I might have done a good job with that name. So Sana Malika, I'm trying to unmute your mic, but it's not happening. Could you unmute your mic? Go ahead. Sana? Malika? I know.
Hello.
Hi, Sana Malika.
Hello, everybody. I am Malika. Malika. Malika from Algeria. I have with me also Atlanka. Hello?
Hi,
You
we're
hear me?
hearing you. Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear. Go ahead.
So I have been listening to the session of today. See, I am a teacher. I used to be a teacher for about 28 years. At no moment in my life as a teacher, I have seen other teachers of other subjects talking about how to teach to pupils or students how to make money or how to use money. All what we were teaching it is how to have your diploma and work as an employer. So with the concept of Dr. Ruja and with One Life, I discovered something new with this financial education that I have never been able to face or to know. Now I'm happy happy that the doctor said at the end of his session, he said, now it is our mission to teach others. I totally agree. Hello?
Hi, Malika. Go ahead. Continue.
Did you hear me?
I'm
Did you
hearing
hear
you.
me?
I'm hearing you now. It's okay. Go ahead. We heard most of what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Malika?
I said that now it is our mission. Now I have quitted teaching and I'm teaching financial education thanks to One Life and thanks to One Coin company. I think that I have to give the word to my Blue Diamond about what he heard from the session.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for the Caribbean team to have us here. It was a really good session today, and the importance of financial education topic that we were not familiar with in most of the schools. So the first time that I heard about financial education when I joined One Life, and I didn't know anything about money before. I was like everyone else,
Looking for diploma.
have been employee and have money and have a paycheck every month, and then everything changed our mindset to we want to create. Now we're thinking about how to create more money and to educate people to have more money and how to keep it and multiply it.
And replicate it, yeah.
And this is something that we are very, very, very proud of it. And I think in all of this, to summarize all of this, financial education is something very, very important. And everyone should take it as serious and work on it. And I think, thank you for the Caribbean team. I think we will be at D-Shake. We forgot Malika to say that we will be with our team, and we will meet everyone there. Thank you so much for having us. It's morning for you. It's midday here. And thank you for King James too. And have a good day.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Sana, Malika, and the Blue Diamond with you. We appreciate your contribution. She did tell me, everyone, I just want to say, she did tell me that they were having some internet challenges, so I'm glad that you stayed with us and you there with us then. Emmanuel Jack is saying, please remember the radio program today at every Monday, at 10:05 a.m. on WAC Radio 9.1 FM in Trinidad and Tobago. Jamal, he's speaking to everyone. QR code for the website will be forthcoming. The site will soon be open for IMA free subscription where IMA can leave reviews and testimony. This is your chance to leave a calling card on a world forum. Thank you, Professor Larry Pereira. So we are happy that we're going to have Malika and the other Blue Diamond and God knows who else in Trinidad for the Caribbean Deal Shaker Expo. It is now 6:48, so we're really way past our time. I would want to let at least King James. I would want King James to be to make a contribution before we go. The last thing I have is Malika saying she was glad to be with us and she thanks everyone. So I'm going to unmute King James' mic now so that he can give us the last wrap up and end the call for today. So thank each and every one of you for being on the call. It was such a pleasure to have you. This is such a great community. Let's keep doing this, guys, sharing the education as well as empowering ourselves. James, go
Good
ahead.
morning. Good morning, Maureen.
Good morning. Go ahead.
What a fascinating call this morning. I really don't want to take too long. I promised to share something regarding the mining concept, so I will hold true to my promise. But I wanted to thank Team Algeria for their contribution. I want to really give a special kudos and thanks for Jamal, who is so innovative. If you notice, guys, this Dear Shaker website, it is fascinating. It is hot, hot, hot. And I'm telling you guys that what we are having here with our expo, I don't believe, matter of fact, I know for sure no other country has done thus far what we have done regarding the level of advertisement, the website feel, plus the cool long. Could you imagine that whole cool long deed to come? That is big business, man. And we're going to be releasing more and more information regarding the cool long and how that's going to operate. So just make sure your Monday is clear. Make sure you participate or have all plans on being here for the Monday with us, international and locally. So don't run away from. I know we have a strong presence of the Suriname team that will be coming across. So make sure you book your tickets for either leaving Tuesday night or Tuesday during the day or Wednesday, but not the Monday. Monday we're having a cool long, meaning the hangout after is a barbecue and beach hangout. So there's excitement in the air, and all meats will be halal. And let me make sure I put special notes on that. All meats will definitely be halal because we think about our friends and families throughout all the world, and we respect all persons' religious beliefs. So I thank Mr. Larry Pereira, Mr. Alvin Morton for sharing this morning. I want to acknowledge Mr. Ivan Mark for participating and listening on this call. And I really just want to tell you guys, man, respect the mining process. And do we know what mining process means? Especially one coin mining. I'm not sure if anybody comprehends what is one coin mining process. Do we truly, truly know what this mining mean? Have you submitted tokens to mine before? And when you submit the tokens to mine, what do that really represent? So I'm not going to expound in a massive way on the concept, but what I would say to you, mining means the creation of the coin. So if the coin is being created, us becoming and us sharing and us being a part of the mining process is because we are part of the creation, friends. Being part of this creation process is something to humbly relish, something to understand that is significant, because after October, there is no more opportunity for anyone to be a part of the creation. Do you understand how sensitive of a time this is? Understanding that no coin can be created after the process, all coins will have to be bought. So when you get your education, this is why you say you get free coins, because you're part of a process that don't necessarily normally happen. Normally, you have to be charged high, big, expensive fees to be a part of the mining process of any coin. Go and attempt to mine Bitcoin, and you will find out how expensive it is. I'm saying all of that to say to us, if you understand this delegate process that we are part of, you will do everything within your energies to help others see the vision for what it is and for you to maintain a true focus on this opportunity. Because the process of creating will end. Respect the mining process, respect yourself, respect the organization, because friends, this will not have a redo or a replay like the Zoom calls. We could have a redo, we could make an error, we could repeat something else, we could apologize, we could come back on a replay, listen to the call over again, but here what's not going to happen. Another coin cannot be created twice. There's no replay with this creation process. Do not take for granted the opportunity that has been handed to you and I. Mining is a serious matter, and it dawned on me just the other day how blessed we are to be a part of the creation process. So I'll leave you with those thoughts in mind. I thank everyone for being part of the call. Look forward to seeing you at the next call or next venue or somewhere live, somewhere online. Just make sure you stay plugged in, stay tuned in. See you tomorrow morning, man. Get a friend, get a cousin, get somebody on the call as well. Let's share this to the world because we have what the world needs. We are empowering persons like you wouldn't believe. According to the Nelson Mandela, the greatest weapon in the world is education, friends. And as you notice from our team friends in Algeria, they speak about what education. Why? Because the education has impacted their lives. They sound just like us, don't they? Because the truth is, none of us knew about money or what money really had to offer until we encountered this one life education, OneAcademy education. So, guys, hats off to you all for being part of the process. But let's see who else we could allow to join the mining process, part of the creation. Let's go out there and create, friends. Blessings and more blessings to you all. Tata.
Bye, everyone. The call now ends.